Hey everybody, it's another week. Here we are at another episode of the Synth Weekly. I am, of course, your beautiful Redneck, and we got a lot of good music today, and we got a good mix, I would say, of some great music, some stuff I played before. I'm sorry, some artists I played for, some new music. It just has that whole little bunch of different vibes that we should that is just some really good synth today. So let's start out today with a group I played for, and it's our good friends Dark Smoke Signal. As usual, they're a synthwave group. They're out of Bristol, UK, and the song they sent me today is called "The First Date at Starcourt Mall." If you've ever seen it, this is a Starcourt Mall is actually Stranger Things. If you don't know, what's wrong with you? No, seriously. If you haven't seen Stranger Things, Starcourt Mall is one of the main malls of Stranger Things 3. As Dark Smoke Signal has stated in their description that this is a major inspired track, and it really sounds it. This is a part 1 of 2 of their track. As he says, Starcourt Mall has it all, shopping style at the Starcourt. That's, if you've seen this show, you know the rest of it. I kind of went with that. So I kind of went with what I did was I kind of stayed on that kind of setting of Stranger Things. You know, I kind of started out with like this beginning of a story. I mean, we see the main characters and the friends, you know, they're all friends together and they're all out and about shopping, having a good time. While we get the mini exposition of each character, you know, by like a narration or by whoever's, whoever the main character is, you know, they're doing like inside their mind kind of deal, narration, you know what I'm talking about. And as the song progresses, we see the main story start to creep in shortly, as like a cutscene, and we see what's going on in the main story. But as we go back and we see the main group, and they're just still having their little thing, but they know something's up. So kind of gives me that feel. And then I went on a little separate kind of difference. I put like it also is like the main and the team have just saved the planet. You know, it's like one of those planetary saving. I like using sky ships. I'm weird like that. So I went with that. So you know they've saved the planet with this new sky ships. We see them flying back to Earth and through the skies, and each of the world is celebrating. You know, and we've seen that whole celebration where each like area has been, you know, having their own little thing. And then we see them land, and all the teams, groups, and others show their gratitude. And they come bum rushing the characters, and the main and his team are congratulated. And then as it all comes out towards the end, we see them all leaving together as one big team, and that they're all happy and they've saved the world and they're ready to go. So both of those work for me. Like I said, it's really strong Stranger Things feel. So I kind of went with that first. So that kind of gives me that bigger feel. So, but let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, follow them on their platforms. A really good group, and check it out. Here it is. It's Dark Smoke Signal, and the song is called "First Date at Starcourt Mall."
It's just sometimes people don't really say what they're really thinking. When you capture the moment, it says me.
What was I saying?
hopefully after that song, 11 doesn't come into and attack me, so we'll be good to go. Next up today, we have, I hope I say this right, Rumur. And they're a synthwave group out of Ukraine, and the song they sent me today is called Dusk. It's a really good song, kind of gives me a sci-fi horror feel. And what I mean by that is like, and it just has that, kind of feel and kind of vibe with it. So I went with like, when I was thinking about it, I kind of went with this, a main and the others were invited by an evil, which is unknown to them at the time. They invite them to this, place, and they meet up, and the evils starts taking them around and takes them to a remote area. And right where the beat drops in this song, we see the evil reveal themselves and his creations, which is kind of like a killing machine, or like a some kind of creation that is meant to destroy them. And as the song progresses, we see then the group starts to run, and the machine is told to have fun and destroy them. And then as we see, it kind of gives me that feel, as the machine's running to take out the people, we see them running, and while the syncopation of the song, sorry, as the syncopation of the song drops, the machine starts taking out the lower, I don't know what to say, like the lower secondary characters, the ones that are going to die. They're the weirdos at the beginning of the movie that that they're just going to be killed. And during the syncopation part of this song, that's where they die or get hurt or whatever. And it just gives me that whole feel about that. I don't know why. I just like that kind of feel, like when the beat drops, evil reveal, and go after them. On the second part I put on that, also kind of goes on the same feel. It's kind of still like that evil's first showing. I don't know why I just got that feel on this whole deal. We see like a stalker this time, and as it starts watching this group who's, they're just in a park, or they're in a like remote wood setting or whatever. It's that kind of classic horror movie feel. And as the beat drops, we see the stalkers show themselves to the group, and it's gruesomely, gruesome, and gruesomely starts just taking out the group. We see the others running through the area as the main character. The main character's not at the being stalked yet, but the main character hears the screams and all the, sees the other group running, and then runs to the same scene, which becomes, as where the song progresses, a hide and seek between the evil and the main. Kind of like that. The main has found, the bodies and everything, and is searching for this evil, and the evil is playing hide and seek with him during this song, especially during the syncopation parts. So that's just kind of what I feel. I mean, they both kind of are about the same, but it just, kind of two different storylines, but about the same feel. But like I said, let me know what you think. Definitely check it out, because it's a really good beat and really good drops on there. So check it out. It's a Rumur, and the song is called Dusk.
That's just a rumor.
like I said, it just kind of gives me a good beat. So definitely check it out. Check out the rest of their stuff and their platforms. Follow their stuff. It's really good, awesome stuff. Next up today, I'm gonna screw this name up, and I apologize as always. You know me, I seem to screw up a lot of names. The group is called either Gibarian or Gibarian. You'll see in the description down below. They're a group out of San Diego, California. They're that synthwave, dreamwave kind of feel, and the song they sent me today is called Memory Bath. They call this a slow, spacey, bass-driven synth that builds into a nice crescendo. Yeah, it kind of gives me that. But you know me, I like to put, where's it going to go in a movie? I'm going to call this Solar Ray. And what I mean by that is the main and the group they've won. The skies are starting to clear for the first time in years. The world has been covered in darkness, or like in a force field or whatever that's turned everything because they haven't been able to get the sun, or the sun has been dying out, and they've been able to destroy it all or get the sun back to working, so to speak. They've been able to restart the sun or something, and we see them for the first time in years after the darkness. We see them basking in the sun's glow. It's just so many years. We see them finally getting the bask into a sun. And we cut to everybody in the story who we've met, not just secondary characters, but, everybody we've met that had a little line or something. And we see them coming out of their houses or just looking up, and they're seeing the sun's glow. They're just in awe of it, and they know that the main group has done it and they've won. Then the group all look around each other, and they know they changed the world, and it's changing them for the better. So, and internally it's changed them. That's what I meant. Sorry. But it just gives us that feel of everything. They've won. They know they've won. They feel it, and they can bask in the glory about it. That's my first feel. And I kind of went with not 180 degrees, but on a different feel on it. I also put the main has been out of the storyline. They've been killed. Like in most movies, nobody dies forever, but this is one of those movies where the main's been killed towards the beginning, first climax of the story, and the team fights on, and they've become the main character, so to speak. And as they're fighting on and they're trying to figure out how to get things going, we cut to an elder, or something happens, and I like using the wise elder in a movie. We see them pull them back together, and as they do, we see this whole setup where the main has come back and is resurrected for some reason by the elder. He's been hiding them out, letting them get their strength back, and as they pull them back together, the main has been resurrected and stronger by the magic, and we see the team, and we see them, the main show back up. The elder calls him out and shows back up, and we see this whole team in awe, and they're just shocked and in tears. While there's always a lover in it, so I always put that there. While the main lover rushes to them, and we see the embrace while the other team is also around them, and we just get that whole camaraderie feel of shock and awe of the resurrection kind of feel. That's what I feel on it. If it doesn't make sense, sorry. I know it kind of mumbles when I did that, but it just gives me that whole resurrection by elder after being killed, but the team's going on and they find out that they're alive, and it's like a shock and awe kind of thing. But like I said, it just gives me that feel. But let me know what you think in the comments of what you think it would fit into. It's a really good song, and definitely a good group to follow. So definitely follow them on their platforms and check it out. It's I'm gonna go with Gibarian. Again, if it's wrong, I'm sorry. Gibarian, and the song is called Memory Bath. Next up today, we have Replicant 69. Really good group out of Asia. They're a good synthwave group. The song they sent me today is called Wasted Youth. And this gives me that really up-tempo 80s romance kind of feel. The vocals are awesome on this song. But it gives me that big 80s, that 80s romance feel. And it's like that whole deal where we've seen the main is smitten over this love interest that he has. As the song starts, we see them trying to get with this person, kind of like that One Crazy Summer kind of feel, or Better Off Dead. If you've seen those 80 movies that John Cryer, I think it's John Cryer, holy crap, been a while. If I'm wrong, sorry. But it kind of gives me that feel of both those movies. It's like that the main character is trying to go after this one person, and we see them, they're getting together finally as the song goes on, and then they're having time together, and while having a great time before the main story climax happens, it's always kind of some bully or, some evil corporation or evil person. It kind of gives that feel, but this is the getting together part of the movie where they're where they're finally getting together and they're kind of having a good time with each other, and then right before the climax starts. Gives me that first feel. On the same note, it also, like I said, it kind of gives me that Better Off Dead, One Crazy Summer feel. Of the, the second part where I put in is like the main, I was just beating the bully, in like in a racing, like in fighting, not really fighting, but like in a race or a snowboarding or something like that. Just they beat the rich bully, which always seems to happen in these 80s movies. Some rich, pompous, bully, and they just beat them. We see the perfect one that the main was going for towards the, most of the movie to impress them. They're perfect. They're perfectly dressed, perfectly body, everything. And as they show up after beating Dang, the perfect one, as I'm calling it, goes for the main now, because they're now the cool person. But the main realizes that's not who they want. They wanted it through the whole first part of the movie, but then they realize that's not who they want. They leave to find the secondary main, who's been helping them this whole time, who's kind of like the ugly duckling, so to speak. And they finally realize that that's the one they actually want to be with. And, the whole romantic feel of them, they finally realize it together, and that's who they need to be with, and that's who they start love each other. And they have this whole thing together. And as they do the whole embrace deal, we see them walking off into the distance as the movie starts to go outro on it, because they found out, that's who they want to be with. So that's kind of what it gives me feel. It kind of gives me both feels on that. It could work in the same movie, but it just gives me that feel. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, really good vocals on this, really good just 80s vibe. So check it out. It's Replicant 69, and the song is called Wasted Youth.
It was hard to see that the end
Next up today, we have our good friends LuminAnthem. If you don't know them, they're a synthwave, synth rock, indie rock, you know, kind of like a little synth rockish kind of feel. They're out of New York. And the song they sent me today is Wherever We May Go. This is a good track. It just kind of gives me a good feel with it. They describe this as headed off to the future with confidence. It's based of an upcoming album. I think the album's already out though by the time I did this, so check it out on their Bandcamp page. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, this is an awesome vocal track, and this kind of gives me that feel when he said go heading out in the future. I went with kind of like a heading out to their first mission. And, you know, they're kind of fearful, but they have confidence. And what we see is, we see the ship, they're heading out through the cosmos, and we see them flying around future worlds and different space colonies. You know, they kind of feel as they're, you know, they first head out, you know, we see them going through, you know, like, you know, you might see Jupiter, Saturn, you know, we see all these space colonies, or, you know, space groups out there, and they're, you know, flying through that. As the ship flies, the crew who were just put together, they're working on getting the ship ready, getting everything ready. They're in all of their positions, you know, that they've been put into, and as all this is going on, the main character is kind of giving the mission in an exposition kind of feel, as we get this whole feel set up with the, you know, each character, we're kind of getting to know them as they, you know, flying through the cosmos onto their first mission. Kind of gives me that big feel. I kind of like that whole feel. You know, I've done it kind of a few times, but it just works on this one really well. Also, this is a secondary main kind of feel. Secondary main has found out the main was a hero in a movie. Here we are, like one of those, like the main character is unknown by everybody and all, but, you know, they're taking care of business. We see the secondary main, and they just found out the main was the hero of a team. They were just given a decision though. They have to, you know, they're given a decision to join the team or move on with their life, and, you know, they have to leave the main character, and the main character has got to live their life as this new hero. After a short while, we see the secondary suddenly just rush off, and, you know, to go find the team that's there. They were given some time to decide. And they've decided to run off. They found the team, to find the team. At the bridge of the song, we see them make the decision to join the team, and we get this whole setup where the main has opened arms, kind of feel, so to speak, and they get ready for what they need to do in the storyline. They set the secondary character who'd made the decision. They get them set up, and we get this whole, you know, feel of camaraderie and, you know, joining of the team, and they're going to get this person set up, and, you know, as they join the team. Kind of both work on that. I kind of like the ship taking off more, but, you know, just the decision making also kind of gives me that feel too. So let me know what you think. Like I said, both vibes work, but let me know what you think in the comments of where this would fit. So definitely check this out, and check out the rest of the music on their platforms. It's LuminAnthem, and the song today is called Wherever You May Go. Next up today we have Full Eclipse. If you don't know them, they're a synth. They call themselves synth, progressive synth, and synth pop. They're out of Toronto, and the song they sent me today is called Timesink, and they call this a slow building synth track that starts lush and ends with a jam style. So that kind of gives me an idea, especially with it being slow and everything. It gave me what I call a resurrection, and what I mean by that is the secondary main is sitting alone after the main hero's death. They watch them die, and the main hero the secondary who's with them has left, and we see them alone in an alcove or something, distraught at the beginning of the bridge. They're kind of, if you don't know me by that, we've seen those in the movies where the main has been left and all the bad guys have left, and we see the secondary main is in an alcove. They're all alone, just sitting there distraught. They don't know what to do at this certain time. Suddenly, they're alone suddenly, and it's just giving that whole distraught feeling. But at the beginning of the bridge of the song, we see the main suddenly come back to life, and then they realize that they're either immortal, something's in their system, or something happened before then, and they can't be killed. And they were just knocked out. They found out that they can't be killed. They're kind of immortal, and they walk out, and we see at this other bridge, they come out to the alcove to the secondary, and the secondary is confused, but at the same time very happy, and rushes to the main, and they do this embrace, and we get this loving and look and exposition of what happens as the song starts to end, where they leave and get back to their place. Basically what happens is the main knows why they weren't killed and figured it out, and walks back, and they get this whole loving embrace kind of shock feel. The secondaries rushes because they thought they were dead, and the main explains everything through a slight exposition of why they can't die. So that kind of gives me that feel on that. Also kind of gives me a secondary feel of the main and team are sent to find the main's lover, or a rescue of some, royalty or something like that. I kind of went with that. And we see them dealing with a lot of bad guys and issues, and they finally make it to the rescue part. They see the lover, royalty, princess, whatever. And when we see the main and the person lock eyes as the main rescues them from the scene, it's either a crash or a kidnapping. It's not completely evil, but we see them come to the scene of the crash. I'm gonna go with the crash on it. And then we finally see as the team moves in, and the main and the lover or princess have come together, and we see them do this loving embrace and it's longing in each other's eyes. Doesn't even have to be loving, but they know that the person knows that they're now safe, and it kind of gives me that feel on that too. Could both work on the same thing, but I kind of like the resurrection more. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about my views on this, on the visuals, and check it out. Here it is. It's Full Eclipse, and the song is called Timesink. Last up today, we're going to end up with a good guy, C. Thomas Howl. If you don't know who he is, what's wrong with you? No. C. Thomas Howl is a cyberpunk dark synth out of Reading, Pennsylvania. The song he sent me today is Mischief Nights. And with Halloween just being passed, should have used it earlier, but no. With Halloween just passed, this is a good way to end, just to give us some dark goodness, so to speak. He describes this song as, imagine a cemetery on a cold October night where things that were dead come back to life again, just for one last mischief night. I went with that. So I kind of went with that, but a little bit more in depth on it. As always, I kind of went with the Halloween kind of feel. The dead are being resurrected in this one. This is kind of like the dead resurrection due to like a group casting a spell to bring them back. We see these kind of like bad guys. They want to be evil. And they're kind of like the bad guys trying to resurrect the evil so they can, control them. We see them do this whole casting the spell deal and it resurrects the dead. We see the spell casting and the dead coming out and start wreaking havoc of the area or the town. And while this is going on, the main and the team are running to try to take out the monsters and figure out what's going on, while getting all the information on how to stop this invasion, so to speak. It kind of gives that feel like the mains, through the first part of the movie, know they're going to try to do it. They can't stop them, and now they've got to figure out how to fix the issue and get them all back and get all the dead back where they need to be, dead. And while this is sorry, it also kind of gives me that secondary feel. It still gives me that horror feel. We see a gate opening. The group and the mains have opened this gate to hell, or gate to like some other universe that's just desolate. That's hell. It's just dark, dank, and they need to rescue a friend. Someone's been pulled down to hell for another reason. They need to go get him back, or they've entered this dimension and it's just like a hell dimension, and they need to figure out how to get him out of there, and so they had to open up this portal to hell. I'm just using that. And we see the gate open and they go down these long corridors. As they make their way through, they find out they're being watched by the under demons, and they start to be chased by lower tier demons or under demons, in which they can outrun and hide, but they have to continue to delve deeper into this hell while not being seen by bigger demons. And what I mean by that is the lower tier demons just smell things they can't really see, so they can hide away from them. But the bigger tier demons will just kill them immediately. So they don't want, and they'll sound the alarms and let Satan or whoever the runner of that realm is, and could be really bad for the person they're trying to save and rescue. And while they're doing this, if they have to fight a demon, they have to do it really quickly without others knowing, and it just kind of gives that whole feel of trying to run around and get everything done to try to get through this portal. Kind of gives me that feel. There's a lot more I could put into it, but that's just the two that gives me the feel, the first feeling what I came up with. So, like I said, a really good song, really good guy, and really good group. So definitely check out his stuff and the rest of the stuff. And as always, check all of them out and follow them on their social media platforms and all their music sites, and make sure you buy their stuff. So, all really good. So check it out today. This is where we're going to end up today. We're going to end up with C. Thomas Howl, and the song is called Mischief Night.
Far into the woods, witches wail, witches cackle, and cast their spells. A black cat cries at the moon. It is Halloween.
that's it for this week. As always, if you're new here, welcome. And as always, if you like the show, like and subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit that bell notification to make sure you're notified of every new week. As usual, I hope everybody has a great week, and it's raining here, so I hope everybody else is staying dry and staying comfortable. Like I said, everybody have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye.